Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How are you, mate?
I'm super.
We've got to take a moment to acknowledge what's in the background that I didn't even realise was there until you pointed it out to me. The wanted poster that I've been sharing on Twitter for a while. You've blown it up to what size is that? Is that just A4? A3?
That's just the day. That's just the day four. Well, maybe during the weeks we'll just slowly just start to make it bigger.
Yeah.
Until
I worry that you're going to go to bed at night and there's just going to be like this A1 size Corey Barlog looking at you.
Oh well.
Corey, if you don't want to do that to Matto, if you don't want to inflict him with this A1 image of you in his room, please come on Dev Direct.
Hey, Corey, what you don't want to do is for me to paint a picture of yourself, of you, on that wall.
There's plenty of space, so you could do it.
Plenty of space. Or I just get a lot of A4 pieces and just put them all together, so there's just a whole heap of Corys.
Holy shit, that's that's a lot of Barlog. All right, possibly the perfect intro anyway, because we're going to be talking about the PlayStation Showcase. Yep, another PlayStation focused episode, but don't worry, that won't be the case next week, most likely. We've managed to actually, let's address that at the beginning now. I've flagged it with you already. We've got a third chair for next week.
Oh yes, we do. You did tell me that. We finally got an audition sent in.
Friend and fan of the show, Jamie Penning's going to be coming on next week, presumably. I think he said the 19th is going to be okay. That's the date that we would record. So fingers crossed that he's able to make that in the end. But the plan next week is that Jamie's going to be on. So Jamie is a big Nintendo fan and expert. Incredible with Donkey Kong Country, most notably, at least in my experiences. Holy shit, that knowledge is unreal. So he's going to come on the show next week and we're probably going to talk about some Nintendo stuff. But like I said, right now we're going to be talking PlayStation because there was the PlayStation Showcase last week. We made some predictions.
I better bring out my 2 Game Boy Colors again.
Yeah, we've got to impress him. We've got to wheel out all our Nintendo stuff.
Well, that's the case then. I've got to put
I've got Earthbound. That's worth hundreds. That is worth hundreds and hundreds. It's got the book in there, everything. We bought it for $55 back in the day, apparently.
Was it the box that big? I swear it wasn't that big.
Yeah, it was that big. I know.
That's huge. That's like steroid box.
Compared to like a normal thing, which, by the way, Secret of Mana 2, which wasn't even released in the West in English. But it's like fans. Like there's been a fan translation for years. They actually slapped it on a Super Nintendo cartridge and then started selling it. So it's not an official Nintendo one, but it works just like it's an official one. So that's kind of cool. But we'll save our best Nintendo stuff for next week. We'll try and impress Jamie. We're going to go through the PlayStation Showcase in the order that everything was announced. There might be some things that we don't care about. We'll just skip past those. We'll work that out as we go. I think there's probably a few things we can agree that we'll just need to skip past.
Yes.
But we'll give them 10 seconds to at least say their name before we skip them. So bear with us as we go through it. And sorry if we skip a game that you yourself took a fair liking to. But the show opened in fairly epic fashion. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is being remade, and it's exclusive to PlayStation for now.
Which is weird.
Yeah, because it was exclusive to Xbox back in the day.
It was an Xbox exclusive back
and PC,
in the day.
Yeah.
And PC. But when I said there's like exclusive to PS5, like, I was just scratching my head like, what? I've never known a franchise to jump consoles.
Yeah.
But in saying that though, it's not owned by Xbox.
It's doing Rise of the Tomb Raider basically. Which that was exclusive for a while.
Yeah, but Xbox doesn't own the rights to Knights of the Old Republic, or BioWare, or whoever.
Yeah, it's LucasArts and Disney.
Disney, and they'll just go to the biggest seller.
Yeah.
So now we know where all PlayStation's money went.
Yeah, look, it's a good get. It's interesting.
Naughty Dog's working on it.
No, it's Asper or Aspire. They're
those unknown people.
Yeah, they are pretty much an unknown. So they've done a whole bunch of ports of Star Wars games in recent years. So you know how like Episode 1 Racer and all that stuff came back? They've been porting all of those like en masse. They've been putting out dozens of Star Wars games after the last few years. But clearly, preparing for this in the background, staffing up or whatever. I think the PlayStation thing is handy. Not just looking at it as a kind of one-eyed PlayStation person, but like we all kind of know that PlayStation's got a bit of a pedigree in terms of those big top tier elite titles that everyone kind of loses their minds over tend to be associated with your Naughty Dogs and Santa Monica's and Sucker Punches and all those Guerrillas, all those studios, and Insomniac I should say, all those studios at PlayStation. And so if you want to align with someone to get a little bit of help, especially if you're an inexperienced team, working with Sony first party is not necessarily a bad way to go. It's as we said, it's not permanently exclusive. It'll be timed. They're saying kind of at console launch on PS5, so it's going to come to Xbox eventually. But PlayStation's obviously putting a bit of money in to help with the development, but also to lock it down as the exclusive, and that's good for them. But I'm just excited to get to play Knights of the Old Republic, a remake of it,
a remaster on another console.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
remastered and relocated.
I think this is going to get the Final Fantasy VII remake style treatment, where it's the same story. You'll recognize some of the same key beats. I'm curious to see what they do with the ending. For anyone who's played the ending of Knights of the Old Republic.
Is it going to be in 2 parts?
Well, I don't know. There could be like ghosts that change the story and spoilers for Final Fantasy VII remake.
No, they'll put Luke Skywalker in there for no reason.
Oh, you're talking about
Darth
like Mandalorian,
Vader, Han Solo.
Why not?
Or even Jedi Fallen Order. You can throw that in there.
Despite it being thousands of years, hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga, they'll find a way. Chewie will be there. Yoda will be there.
Young Yoda.
Baby Yoda is in fact Yoda. Just the timeline's all out of whack.
Maybe Yoda.
I'm pretty keen on it though. It's gonna be pretty sweet, but it's a fair way off. I think it's pretty clear that it's a long way off. So, and even there was a post showcase interview where they got I think it was the creative lead from the game. He's like, you're not going to see this again for a while. Like they're setting expectations early. So, just
a lightsaber and the bad guy.
Yeah,
they're going full Far Cry.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't need to do much more if they were trying to get people hyped. In fact, you could have just given the logo and that was it, and people would have lost their shit. So,
what you have to do is just give them a lightsaber, and people will just go nuts.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Well, what did you think when you obviously recognised it was Star Wars at the beginning? What was your first thought, or as you were watching it back, or did you already know by the time you'd watched it? Because I don't think you watched it live, did you?
No, but I tried to keep away from spoilers, so I get the full surprise. And my first thing was that's not an Xbox.
Okay, so you didn't go, oh, I think it's Jedi Fallen Order or it's something else first, or like what was your first gut feel?
Well, no, I thought, oh look, it's a Star Wars game, and then when they said Knights of the Old Republic, I just got even more confused. It's like, oh cool, there's a Star Wars game coming to PlayStation. Then it was
exclusive
Knights of the Old Republic of like remastered on PS5. I was like, wait, what?
Your head was spinning.
What is going? Like, wait, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it did feel a bit like that.
It was a bit weird.
Next one is it actually has a code name still, or a project name. It's called Project Eve. There's a few people that are kind of going, hang on, they talk about parasites. There's a character called Eve. Maybe it's Parasite Eve. It's not. I don't think, but it could be.
What a name.
Who knows?
Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve was a pretty cool franchise back in the day, an old Square Enix job. But what do you think of this one when you saw it? They've showed a fair bit.
I thought for a second it was like another one of those like
Bayonetta.
Code Vein.
Oh yeah, okay.
Code Vein. I thought, oh, it must be a sequel or something, and then, well, I haven't played many of those type of games, so I don't know.
I mean,
I reckon if you put all those games in front of me, I wouldn't know which one's which.
You wouldn't be able to tell a Devil May Cry from a Bayonetta from a.
Well, yes,
they're probably the big three these days.
Oh, Bayonetta, yes. Devil May Cry, yes. Don't know about the other one you said. Nier. Yeah, oh, that's that other one.
But even then, the difference between those two games is pretty crazy, so I don't blame you for not recognising Nier out of the crowd.
I reckon if you show me the combat in it, I wouldn't pick the difference, I think.
Yeah, fair. It looks pretty cool, and it's definitely fitting in that mold, though. Didn't like it when they panned the camera out and there was that giant eyeball monster that was all over the space station in the sky. Like, that was a bit weird and freaky. Remember that?
I remember that.
She kind of gets blasted at the very beginning of the trailer. They go, her name's Eve. She gets like knocked out of the ship by this alien thing that she's fighting, and then she kind of you see her floating back through space for a little bit, and then the camera kind of pulls right out, and there's this giant like monster that's kind of completely overtaken the entire space station. It's kind of got like four like limbs kind of floating in the air. It was disgusting.
Wow. From a video game point of view, that was disgusting.
It was pretty gross. Like, I guess it's pretty. It kind of feels Soulsy in terms of the monster design there, but who knows? We'll see how it comes up. Game looks pretty cool though. Next up is a game from a franchise that we both have a bit of a love of. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So
yes.
Borderlands spin-off. Were you taken by what you saw?
Yeah, looks like Borderlands. And that's all I care about. Sort of feels like there was a DLC for Borderlands 2 with sort of the exact same.
The assault on something Keep. I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called.
And it's sort of the same thing. Like Tiny Tina's telling a story, and you're playing as that.
There we go. The assault on Dragon Keep was the name, and it's 100% that setting. Like they've got the whole D&D going again, and all that sort of stuff. I thought it might have been a good opportunity for him to, because it's not Borderlands, to move away from guns for the sake of it and kind of go with something, and the setting's completely different, so go with something completely different. But
sword.
There's swords, and it looks like you can kind of shoot a bow and that sort of thing, but there's still guns. Dozens and dozens and maybe hundreds of guns.
They might have brought in melee weapons this time.
Yeah.
Was that a thing in Borderlands? No, it wasn't.
Krieg, I think. Krieg can. He's the psycho one, I think. I think he does some melee stuff because he's got that giant thing with like the saw blade on the end, and you kind of swing through with that. Like he's super melee, if I remember. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's kind of this it looks like there's like an overworld thing. Like it kind of pans right out, and there's like nodes on the map that you can kind of visit. So that'll be interesting if it's like, it's not one big interconnected world. It's like little isolated spots, a la like Mario. Like go into this level now, and you go into this level now, and
hey, you beat this boss, you can go to this level.
Yeah, like that'd be kind of interesting. A big change in that space, but we'll see. I think it's cool. Like I've pre-ordered it because I love Borderlands, but I don't know. They didn't show a hell of a lot. There was a lot of baby metal. What do you think of the baby metal?
I'll scratch my head. Like, it's probably the first and last time I'll ever hear a baby metal song in a video game trailer. And out of all people, Gearbox to do it.
Does it surprise you that it's Gearbox though?
No, not at all.
I'd never heard of the phrase baby metal before, so I didn't like. I thought, okay, the music's a little bit odd, and then I start seeing all this stuff in my Twitter feed about baby metal and stuff. I'm like, all right, I get it, because I could already like hear the song in my head again after, with Tina kind of screeching and ranting and whatever. But I don't know. Like, I guess okay, baby metal, righto. It doesn't hit me all that hard. Like I got a little laugh, and that was about it. I moved on. Next up, I don't know if it's 100% up your alley, but I could be wrong. Forspoken. So Square Enix RPG.
Oh yeah.
That
kind of did interest me. It sort of had it had almost every element of every other game put together almost.
But in the right way, I'm guessing.
In the right way.
Yeah. What was it that you liked?
I thought for a second it was like, oh, it's a Ratchet and Clank ripoff with the whole little portal thing at the start.
Oh yeah,
little purple portal. Like, oh, just like Ratchet and Clank, but real human type stuff. You sort of look at it, there's a bit of, I don't know, Assassin's Creed to it. Maybe a bit of Witcher. Like all the good stuff.
Yeah, fair bit of Final Fantasy to it as well. Especially Final Fantasy 15 with kind of the way she can kind of warp around a little bit, and the way she's flinging herself through the air. And 15's fine. It's not a bad game.
When I say the good one, I mean the terrible one. I guess that's 14.
No, 13. 13's the horrible one. 13's the train wreck, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, look, I kind of like it, and yeah, you're right. Like, it does kind of throw a whole bunch of cool elements from a whole bunch of cool games at you, and then the talent in terms of the writing, they've got some real talent on it as well. Amy Hennig from Uncharted, you've got Gary Whitta from Star Wars Rogue One, as well as like Walking Dead. And
the movie.
The movie. Like you've got a whole, and there's a bunch of others. Todd Stashwick, who was actually meant to be working with Amy Hennig on Uncharted 4 back in the day before things got ugly and they both quit and left. And there was someone else as well. Sorry, I can't think of who the other name was. But like, there's some cool writing talent on the game, and it's certainly like tonally in terms of the way the girl speaks as she's kind of narrating what's going on. It's a little bit more, holy shit, what am I doing here? And a little bit more, I guess, relatable in some sense. Like, you would be a bit confused as to what the hell's going on when you've been ripped out of this normal world into this fantasy thing with dragons.
Dragons and
God knows
bubbles.
What else. Yeah. Like, I don't blame her for reacting that way. So it feels pretty good in that sense. Rainbow Six Extraction do anything for you?
Move on. Just, oh no.
Yeah, me either.
I would say Rainbow Six Siege does not interest me in the slightest.
Yeah. I mean, look, the co-op, it interests me more than Siege. but I'm still not overly inspired by the whole thing. So next game's cool. That next one's right up our alley, and I think we knew about this when we made our predictions last week. Alan Wake Remastered.
Yes, we did.
I'm keen to go back and play Alan Wake.
It doesn't look like a remastered at the moment. I don't know. It just looks like it's just taken it from the Xbox 360 and just copy and pasted it at the moment. But when does it come out? It's coming out this year.
October 5th. It's less than a month away. Yeah. This is a super short turnaround.
Yeah, they better enhance those graphics then, or unless they're just want good smoke.
His face looked a bit better. Like there was a bit more definition, and you could kind of see some the face contorting a little bit more than back in the day. From what I remember, I feel like his face was kind of a bit wooden.
Flat.
Yeah, everything was just a bit flat, as you'd kind of expect from a 360 game compared to now. But I don't think it's a massive visual overhaul. I'm just excited they bring it to PlayStation, because I think that really then sets up the future with connected to Control and potentially Alan Wake 2 or stuff that they do with Control 2 or whatever. So I think that's awesome news. Can we just skip GTA 5?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. GTA 5
don't care. Don't care about your improved graphics. Doesn't mean shit to me.
The only, I guess, notable thing out of the whole thing is it was meant to come out in November. It's now been pushed back to March next year. And for anyone who is a big GTA fan, something that was kind of press release stuff afterwards, they were giving, it was like $1 million of shark cards or something every month.
Cards or something, yeah.
And they're gonna honor that and keep going for the next 4 months beyond, right up from November up till March to kind of make good on their promise despite the delay. So I guess that's a good act, but
it's not really going to affect them at all, let's be honest.
No, they're going to make millions of dollars.
They're going to make millions.
So they don't care.
I mean, it's still the #1 game in Australia for like the 400th week running.
It's bullshit. I don't get
it. Not even the PS4 exclusives last that long. No. They're like in for a week and then out you go.
But GTA just sticks around. I don't know.
Is it the same people buying it again, or what?
Well, I guess there's always like a new generation of 13-year-olds. Like every year, you're gonna get a new batch of 13-year-olds that mum or dad says, "Okay, you can play GTA now," or whatever the age happens to be. Like there's always a new group that's getting let in.
Bad parents. It's an R18 game. Come on.
But we know what happens. Don't worry, I'm 100% with you, and there's no way my kids will be playing. I don't know, GTA probably 6 because it's gonna take them that long to put out another one.
If it got banned from Big W, I'm pretty sure you got to think that's bad.
There's a reason for that.
Back in the yes,
but also how many people go to Big W for their games as their golden rule?
When it's on sale, when they're having a huge clearance.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Next
that's
one
about it.
Is one of 2 Bethesda games as they kind of closed the chapter on PlayStation that were there. Ghostwire Tokyo was there. They showed off a bit of gameplay. Which is good because the last trailer that they showed, I think this time last year, wasn't overly impressive. The one beforehand,
I remember the one from E3.
Yeah, with
where that lady was there, then about a week later she left.
Yeah, then she quit. Yeah, the one from last year, the PlayStation Showcase last year, was kind of rough actually. I lost the enthusiasm I had for the game after that, but this got me back. The gameplay looks kind of cool. It'll be interesting to see how it works in kind of first person, with all the stuff that they're trying to do with it. Melee usually doesn't work very well in first person, but they're leaning into that pretty heavily. Obviously, some games make it work, like I guess Doom does it, but still by default you're a shooter. I'm thinking Dying Light. Dying Light has a lot of melee stuff where you're up and close with some of the zombies or whatever they call them, the things that come out at night that look a lot like zombies. It's like, looking at Ghostwire, does it seem like the sort of thing you might go for?
Not really. I wasn't excited about it all those years ago. Still don't really.
Just meh now.
Just meh. Don't really care.
I mean, I'm not the biggest horror guy, so I'm not going to be climbing over myself to get it. But if I happen to get an opportunity to play it, or it's cheap or something like that in the future, I'll give it a crack. I'm not gonna say no. Like, it looks alright for what it is, but I'm not desperate for it. But that'll be the last game that ever comes out on a PlayStation console, presumably from Bethesda, unless they do backflip on some of their exclusives to Xbox, but I don't know why they would.
That's just silly.
Yeah, unless they are all time exclusives. But
why would you pay $7 billion for a company and not put them on your own console?
let's cycle back to that point, because that's something I want to discuss after we get through some of the PlayStation exclusives a little bit later on, like some of the first party stuff from a bit later on, because I think there's a point in like a point of discussion out of that whole thing. So the next game was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So the first time Marvel popped up for the showcase, one of 3 times that a Marvel title was present. Is Guardians of the Galaxy doing it for you? It's out in October, so
not really.
It wasn't a great trailer.
It wasn't the most exciting trailer.
I liked it.
It just felt like the movie,
but not
of Guardians of the Galaxy, but not funny.
Yeah, that was my worry. Like, okay, the gameplay they've already shown us, that looks pretty cool, but it wasn't funny, and that worries me. I don't know.
But maybe this is just one of their tricks again, or just like did they learn from the Avengers?
Well, again, the gameplay looks kind of cool, and they're not going for that live service sort of thing. Like, this is a single player game, but one of the big things for Guardians is the humor and the fact that they didn't deliver it in the trailer at all. Like, it got a wry smile from me at one point. At one point where, like, with the dog was sitting there and it was talking and about playing chase or something, like chase the ball or whatever. Like, that got a little laugh, like just a very small smirk out of me, but you don't want just a smirk from a Guardians game, so it's a bit of a worry. I don't know about you, but the next one for me is one that I personally would be happy to skip in Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm not a Vampire the Masquerade person. I'm not a Battle Royale person. That's what they're going for here, so I'm pretty happy to just skip it. It's apparently in early access on PC now, and it's coming to PlayStation this year in early access as well, so for those keen,
is it Battle Royale?
Yeah, well, apparently, the trailer didn't really signal that at all.
I thought it was gameplay, actual single player.
No, there's Vampire the Masquerade 2 or Bloodlines 2, which is the one that they showed at the Xbox event last year. Remember, and it looked like a PS2 game.
Oh, that one. Yes, I remember that.
They're really trying to blow out the universe a little bit with all these Vampire the Masquerade games, and this is their multiplayer thing, which I don't know. It might be a good game, but I don't know that the license it's trying to leverage is nearly popular enough to justify it. But good luck to them. Maybe the game will be good and it'll just win people over because it's a good game. I hope so for them. The other one, which I thought was weird for it to be there simply because it was out 4 days later as of when the event was run, and I guess it's out now, today, as of when people watch and listen to this. Deathloop was there with another trailer that went way too long.
400 times.
Holy shit.
I don't need to see any more Deathloop. I get it. You got to kill the person in a time loop. I get it. You don't have to show me the same trailer 20 times. The same level 20 times.
I feel like it was Xbox almost trying to, Bethesda being owned, but Xbox trying to troll PlayStation. Like, okay, you need to stick this in there because it's out. It's the exclusive game that we got for the year. So we're going to make this trailer so long and tell you so little because we've already told you this shit before. People are just going to crack the shits at you. Because I did, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. Not to mention there's previews already out there. Outlets, Player 2 has a code for review. I've got one. Matt Houston has one. As of when this patched episode goes live, you will have already seen Matt's review on the website and a video discussion on this patched feed from a day ago. So, firstly, go check all those out. But secondly, it was just kind of useless. No matter whether it's the best game in the world or not.
It just felt like a filler.
Yeah. But speaking of stuff that I don't know, maybe didn't need to be there, it was weird. Kid Amnesia. So Kid A, which was the old Radiohead album, but Kid Amnesia.
Oh, is that what that thing was? Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was going on there. Yeah. So that red and black.
At the beginning, I was like, "Oh, this is like Silent Hill or whatever." Like it's the horror game. Everyone's been speculating about this, and then it was this shit.
I thought it was 12 minutes for a second. I thought, oh, it's coming to PlayStation 5.
That's only a matter of time. But yeah, I had no idea what to think when I was watching that. It comes out in November, whatever this thing is. They're calling it an exhibition, like Kid A or Amnesia exhibition.
A VR exhibition.
I don't know. This wasn't the right place for some cool ideas like that. Everyone was just confused.
Yeah. I didn't know what was going on. I thought, was that a game? I don't know. What are they trying to show me?
Like the sort of thing you need to show people and then talk about it. But they showed and then explained nothing, so...
And just went to the next game. It's like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, if I was the publisher, I'm like, great, this is an awesome platform. Are we going to be able to talk about it afterwards? No, we're kicking to Chia. We're kicking to another game. Oh, then maybe it's not for us because we can't tell people what it's all about. People aren't intrigued and clicking through to find out what this game is. People have moved on.
Next, that's what they'll be thinking.
Yeah.
Like me, I was like, they don't even know what this is.
So the final third party or second party or indie title, in fact, the only indie for the entire showcase, Chia, which was a game that I think we saw at
So I do remember seeing it.
Game Awards, I think it was. Yeah, because I think you possessed like a coconut and then you rolled away as a coconut.
Yes, we were talking about as a coconut. Yeah, I think I remember that. Like, it was cool because you got to become a coconut.
Yeah.
And a crab.
Yeah, and you get to become a crab here. You're a seagull. All this shit connects somehow. Like, it seems pretty cool. Though, and like, tell me what you think of this. Given all the games that we've just discussed, probably starting with maybe, you could even argue Rainbow Six Extraction, but I might say from GTA 5 onwards, like there was a big 10 to 15 minute lull in the presentation where like perfectly good games in there, but Ghostwire Tokyo, people are going to be a bit iffy about, and of course there's the weird Bethesda thing to the point where Sony didn't even allow Bethesda's name to be put in the trailer. It's only us that know a bit about the industry that would know. Oh,
really?
Bethesda's publishing that, and their name's not in the trailer anyway. Probably because if you put Bethesda up there, Xbox has got to be there, and PlayStation won't want that. So same with Deathloop. Bethesda's name wasn't there, but yeah, Ghostwire, which is some people will go for, but a lot probably won't. Guardians of the Galaxy, which had a pretty ho-hum trailer. Bloodhunt, which we've already discussed. Deathloop, which just didn't need to be there. Kid A Amnesia, which was weird. And then Chia as the only indie game in the entire showcase. Like, that was a really weak chunk of the show. Again, each title on its own seems pretty good, but it wasn't assembled in a very good way, and so there was a bit of a lull there for about 15 minutes.
They even put like Alan Wake in there as well, because they didn't really...
Well, yeah, Alan Wake could even fit in that.
There.
Well, I mean, look, that probably would have been a big hit if it hadn't leaked about 5 or 6 days beforehand.
That is true.
Like, PlayStation people lose their shit because people have been wanting to play that for years. And even Xbox people, because they're like, oh, sweet, I finally get a remastered take on the game. But, yeah, the fact that it leaked kind of nipped that in the bud. But, yeah, there was still a lengthy chunk where it was a bit underwhelming. So it's a good thing that after Chia, which, again, perfectly good game, but it's a good thing that after Chia, they launched into first-party studios mode, and from here, things really started to pick up. So Uncharted was first. Not a new Uncharted. They're just bundling together Uncharted 4, Thief's End, and Uncharted: A Lost Legacy, but they're remastering it for PS5 and PC.
And PC.
So the PC stuff continues. Early 2022 for that one. Thoughts?
Well, if I had a choice to play it on PC or PS5, I'm going the PS5. Because to me, it just feels weird playing a PS5 game on a PC.
I mean, look, you could rig a controller up to it, I'm sure.
That's the thing. You might as well just get a PS5.
Yeah.
If you have a PS5, I should say.
Yeah, I'd agree. If you're able to get one, yeah, that is the trick. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm with you on that, and I'm 100% going to play them on the PS5. Any excuse to play more Uncharted, even if it's the same Uncharted. I'll play them both. I'll get the whole new set of trophy lists. Great. I'm in.
Good luck getting a platinum on that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I haven't gotten a platinum in any Uncharted game to this point, as much as I'd love to.
So don't you need to do ones on difficulties?
Yeah, crushing, I think, is in there, which is just, that's soul destroying, so no thanks.
Bad enough on easy when you can't even shoot. I mean, imagine trying to do that on crushing. It will be crushing.
Yeah, it'll just destroy your soul.
Wait, that's the auto aim in that, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, there's degrees of auto aim and those sort of things. Certainly got better as the years went on. But next up, and we discussed this actually before we started recording in terms of the tricks involved in kind of bluffing us, we think we were going one way only to fool us and go the other. We obviously speculated before the show that Spider-Man was going to show up, Spider-Man 2 was going to show up. And so when this next trailer popped up, we saw the Marvel logo, we saw the Insomniac logo, and everyone's going, I think everyone collectively has gone, oh, yeah, okay. It seems a bit early, but Spider-Man 2, that makes sense. We all knew it was a matter of time before it was coming. And they pump faked us and gave us Wolverine. So Insomniac's managed to work with Disney again to get another license, another Marvel license, Wolverine this time.
What was that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how all this Marvel stuff works, but I'm pretty sure that's not I don't know how it all works.
Yeah, this has got nothing to do with Sony owning anything. This is just
Marvel.
they managed to land, like they had an idea, they pitched it, and I guess they got what they wanted. So good on them. I want, like, if you're Marvel right now and you look out across the games that are being developed with your IP, you go, Square Enix has put out Marvel's Avengers, which tanked, and Guardians of the Galaxy, which only looks, in my opinion, good but not great. And I don't know, 100% where the collective masses fit, but good but not great. Then you look over the PlayStation. I guess there was Marvel's Iron Man as well, but that was also developed exclusively for PlayStation, and it's pretty good for a VR game.
It's VR.
An early VR game. Like, it's trying to put you in the boots of Iron Man. It tells a pretty cool story. But then you look over on the other side and what's being developed. Every game that you've sent over to PlayStation so far, you've seen Spider-Man, which was a Game of the Year contender. You've seen Miles Morales, which was a Game of the Year contender. And then you've obviously got Spider-Man 2, which is probably going to be in that same conversation. And then the same company comes to you with a pitch for Wolverine. You just jump at that every day. Like, yeah, sure, no, that's all right. Don't explain anything more to us. Just take the license, go make a game.
I reckon that's what they pitch. Yeah, hear us out. Wolverine. Stop you right there.
You've got it.
We're in.
Here's the contract. Sign it, please.
Here's it. Sign here. Off you go.
Because they didn't show us anything. Like, it was Wolverine.
They just showed us some claws,
and the claws burst out as some guy's about to come up with a knife. Like, pretty basic stuff. The game's going to be a long way off. They didn't even put a year or a date or anything like that on it. Versus Spider-Man 2, which we'll talk about shortly, where they at least put a year window. So I think this could be a fair way off. This is also the team. So the team who did, I don't 100% know how it all works. Insomniac's huge, and there's at least 3 or maybe even 4 teams there. But the team who did Miles Morales, or at least the people who headed the development of Miles Morales, are working on Wolverine. So they've only had 6 months to do this, 6-ish months to do this thing so far.
So 2023 or 24.
Well, Spider-Man 2, as we'll talk about shortly, is 2023. So yeah, I think 2024 is probably the earliest that you'll see the next that you'll see Wolverine. So we'll see what happens there. But I trust Insomniac implicitly, so it'll be an awesome game whenever it comes out.
One of the very few companies you can trust these days.
Yeah, they're just the other thing. How are they doing this? They've already put out 3 games on the PS5: Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, and Ratchet and Clank, and now they've already announced another 2. The console's going to be 4 years old, and they will have released 5 games.
Well, I think what's happened is the old role reversal on Naughty Dog, and now Naughty Dog's going over to Insomniac and going, "Hey, work on this game for us."
Yeah, hey, can you make The Last of Us Part 3 for us so that it comes out sometime before the PS5 comes out?
We got Wolverine. You do Wolverine, we'll do Last of Us for you.
Yeah, that way things get done a bit quicker. But anyway, yeah, the Naughty Dog conversation will probably be something that comes up soon enough, I'm sure. Gran Turismo 7 was there. I'm not a racing guy, but it looked nice, as you probably expect. Nice. They always look nice. They didn't
on the old open world thing.
Yeah, they didn't announce it in the stream, but then the PlayStation blog afterwards confirmed it was coming March 4th. So I don't know why they didn't put the date in the actual trailer they showed the world at the time.
Probably forgot.
But they did so afterwards. Yeah, could be something simple like that. I don't know. Good on them. It's weird that it's coming out so close to Horizon, like 2 weeks after Horizon.
Maybe they just thought no one cared. Just thought, oh, no one cares about Gran Turismo these days, and then everyone just went, oh, hey.
It's going to sell 5-6 million copies at least, you'd think, over its life. So that's a good number, but I don't know. The only thing I guess when it comes to release date, there's probably not a lot of people out there that are super keen on Horizon and super keen on GT. So it probably doesn't matter when you put the thing out. It'll just come out and it'll do its numbers, and that's fine. Doesn't matter what else is there. But you would have thought they might try and space things out a little bit. Well, yeah, a few weeks later is GTA, so we'll see what happens there. All right, now we'll cycle back to Spider-Man 2, where, again, they pumped
Somebody thought it was another game.
I am not the only one that thought that, but yeah, this time they didn't bring the logo. They didn't put Marvel. They didn't put Insomniac at the beginning there. If you go and check out the videos on YouTube now they do it because they're not trying to, everyone knows at this point. But when the live stream aired, there was no logos at the beginning there. It just jumped into this trailer and you saw this street sign, traffic lights and all that. and then electricity goes flowing through it. And as we were discussing before the thing, I was doing the live stream with Ryan Betson from the Pop Culture, so I was live streaming it on their platform, and I rewatched the video afterwards, and I audibly squealed because I thought it was infamous, and it wasn't. Seconds later, you see the Spider-Man logos pop up on the screen, and it's Spider-Man 2. But it's pretty cool. My initial I watched the whole thing back, and I spent half the time with my head in my hands because I was so devastated that it wasn't infamous. But once I'm stoked with Spider-Man, but geez, I would have loved Infamous even more. It looks pretty cool. Like
for a trailer,
Venom's going to be in there.
Yet. Venom, we got the electric one.
Yeah, we got both.
Electro.
We got both Miles. Well, I just assumed that was Miles because remember Miles has got electric powers.
Ah, has he?
Yeah.
I actually haven't played Miles yet.
Oh, okay.
Miles Morales yet. But yeah. I think I do remember in the actual when they show an actual gameplay trailer of it. It's like early in the where he flies into like some weird serum stuff or something. I can't remember.
Just it's the old spider bite thing. But
just a spider bite.
Yeah, it's the old spider bite.
An electric radioactive spider.
Yeah. But the way they're kind of combining and like Peter Parker Spider-Man has the claw things on his back, those giant metal ones, like that's all cool. Venom's clearly going to be there. I mean Venom was teased at the end of the last one. They also kind of teased Green Goblin, so I wonder if Green Goblin will show up as well.
Right. I'm trying to remember back to the Spider-Man. When was Venom shown?
It wasn't shown. It was all teasing stuff at the end. They were talking about there was a lot of clues there to the symbiote and all that sort of stuff.
Ah, right.
And then they kind of far less subtly kind of hinted at Green Goblin. So you'd imagine Green Goblin might show up as well in this one. So that's plenty cool. I'm super keen. And the way they closed it out, which was the thing that we all knew was coming. I, in fact, tipped as the closer. Self 5. God of War Ragnarok. What'd you make of what you saw of God of War? Because this is the big gameplay. This is the big gameplay blowout for this one.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch it because I haven't played God of War, so I didn't want to ruin it for myself.
That's a very good decision because they spoiled a lot in that trailer.
Yeah, I just saw Kratos and went, whoa, we're stopping it right here. I don't want to. Don't want to do.
Skip ahead to make sure they don't. There was nothing else afterwards. Nope, God of War was it. All right, we're out.
Yeah, that was it. Done.
All right, well, I'll try and describe or say my piece without spoiling anything, because there's a lot of No, don't worry. I won't do it to you.
Okay.
They're closing out this whole Norse thing. I think most people expect it to be 3 games. Kind of go the trilogy path. 2. But they're only going to go 2. Apparently, this is going to close it all out. They talk about Tyr a lot in the last game. Tyr was the Norse god of war. This won't be overly it's Tyr is going to be in this game. They show Tyr at one point, so you
can say any names you want to be. I won't know.
Yeah, you probably forget by the time you actually get a chance to play it. So
yeah,
Tyr is the Norse god of war, and it looks like Kratos is potentially going to be partnering up with Tyr in some sense. Like they set him free from somewhere. Like he's been in hiding. Odin has hid him somewhere or tucked him away somewhere, and Kratos found him. They've also, at the end of, was anything spoiled about the original God of War for you? Like something right at the very end? Did anyone spoil that for you?
No, because I think when you had this conversation with Damo, I took my headphones off, and you just could continue talking about it.
For anyone who's played God of War 2018, the character that was introduced at the very end after Kratos goes home, so the whole adventure's done and you go back to the house, and there's a certain famous Norse god that basically rocks up on Kratos' doorstep.
What about Thor?
Yeah, sure, I'm talking about Thor.
I've seen pictures of Thor.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. What? I understand you don't want him to be look like a Hemsworth, and that's fine. But you went with old pudding guts Thor? Righto.
Hey, he's not playing Fortnite on the couch, so just relax.
Look, he's far more relatable.
I was just going to say, you haven't seen that movie about what I'm talking about Fortnite on the couch, so you won't understand
that Thor
that
Ragnarok?
reference. No.
Oh, I don't know.
You'll if you watch all your Marvel films, you'll eventually see Fortnite.
Oh, that upsets me. I don't know if I can. Oh.
No, it's actually good. It's not terrible. Trust me.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. They didn't slap a date on it at the end there, but I think we can all probably assume it's the back end of next year. That's about it. It's going to come to PS4 and PS5. Game looks gorgeous. Yeah, plenty of spoilers there if you haven't played 2018, so you made the right decision if you didn't want anything spoiled. Obviously, I've now confirmed the Thor spoiler for you, but it doesn't impact it doesn't impact the rest of the actual core story of the game. So.
There was pictures all over Twitter about Thor.
Yeah,
it was just the guy from Remember the Titans.
Yeah,
his voice in it.
They're really wheeling out the A-list talent for the game in terms of the actors and that sort of thing, which is good for them.
They got the guy from Stargate.
Yeah, as Kratos himself, obviously, but yeah, they just keep wheeling out. Like, we got this actor as this, and we got this actor. Like, they're trying to elevate these people if they're small name, and if they're already a big name, they're trying to leverage it as a hey, we got the star power for this thing, which is cool.
Yes, but it's also a bad thing if you're getting big name celebrities in your game, because that's sometimes a sign that your game's rubbish. For example, Call of Duty.
Oh,
Call of Duty, Beyond Two Souls.
12 minutes.
12.
Apparently.
Not so much.
People don't. There's a fair few people that don't like it, but who knows?
You could say Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
But they're not very well-known actors, though.
No, they're not big ones.
Some guy from Grey's Anatomy.
So that's the showcase. What do you think overall? Oh, yeah. What do you think overall?
What did I think? I wouldn't say overly exciting. Like you said, there was just the middle part in there just felt pointless.
Not pointless, but it just wasn't
pointless,
assembled
but they could have done
way.
more.
They just didn't assemble it the right way.
Yes.
Shuffle the order of a few things. Maybe drop Wolverine in the middle there to break things up, and it might have been a bit better. Yeah, get rid of Deathloop.
You don't need Deathloop.
You could have given it to Kenner. You could have given that to Kenner Bridge of Spirits, which is
or the cat
comes out 10 days later. But yeah, they could have done that, or the cat Stray. Yeah, more for the indies.
Any of those other ones. Yeah, or any of those other PS5 releases you showed last year.
Yeah, maybe there's some state of plays planned for those sort of small scale things coming. I don't know. We'll see. It's taken them an eternity to do this. Yeah, look, I'm a bit with you. It was a good presentation, and obviously there's some games there that I'm super hyped about, but it wasn't a great presentation, again, because of that bit in the middle. It really kind of pulled things down a bit with some games that shouldn't have been there, like Deathloop and others that just didn't.
GTA 5.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly a marketing deal there, so that was always going to show up, like how GTA 5 began the showcase last year. Like, it's next gen. Here's a game from the PS3.
Here's a game from 8 years ago. When it comes out, would be 9 years ago.
Yeah,
I
was thrilled to see Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, that's been at every bloody PlayStation State of Play and showcase for a while, so I'm glad to see that didn't show up. But I guess I don't know. It's only a matter of time before that happens again.
That's going to be the next one.
The show itself was good. Like if I was to, it's like an 8 out of 10 show. There was lots of good things there, but it was dragged down by some of the weak bits. The thing that
was one of them, Jim Ryan opened it.
Yeah, Jim Ryan can fuck off. Also, that weird thing at the beginning, like we're playing chess. It was kind of like did you see like there was that live action ad they had at the beginning before Jim Ryan spoke?
Oh, probably. I probably just forgot it.
Fast forwarded through it or something.
Yeah, maybe.
It was there was a whole, but it's one of those live action trailers that PlayStation does all the time, and they're trying to show off how edgy they are and all that sort of thing. And look, we've got all this talent, and it's everyone loves PlayStation, and they seem to usually do the job for whatever reason. But
you think those people at PlayStation look at that and just laugh and go, "Ha, no, it's not."
Well, I watched Alana Pierce reacting to the whole thing, and she even scoffed it. She works for Santa Monica. She's working on God of War, and she scoffed at the whole thing. So anyway.
Part of the dev team.
Yeah, part of the dev team, and she's they all got their shirts the day off.
Don't you dare go blaming her for it coming out later next year.
Yeah,
don't you
bullshit.
Dare. Or you have him to deal with.
Yeah, Corey Barlog will come after you. But Corey, while you're doing it, over here, mate.
Or otherwise that poster gets bigger.
Yeah, it just consumes the room. What they did do, and I was talking to Ryan about this during the stream, and he wasn't overly thrilled with it, and he was also looking at going, well, they've also given us nothing. Like, Spider-Man and Wolverine are a mile off, and then they didn't announce anything else beyond that. But what they've done, and they kind of did the same thing at the beginning of the PS4 generation as well, is they're leaning on the third parties to kind of carry them while the first parties kind of get themselves set. The difficult thing for the thing that's worked well for Xbox, obviously, is they've bought a whole bunch of studios. That helps. But where they were in their development for a lot of their games, whether it was Halo or Forza or any of those sort of things, the things that are on the way, is that they were either super early in development or they were deep enough into development that when COVID kind of came through and slowed a whole bunch of things down, they were pretty much there anyway. Like Halo had to get delayed because the game wasn't coming up overly well. But everything else is kind of trucking along at a pace that's fairly decent. They're okay.
Yeah, when it comes to Forza, they showed that at E3 and it's coming out this year, and it looks there hasn't been a single word said that's going to get delayed. It's going to be there. Day one.
It'll do what Forza does, and it'll come out then and be amazing because the Forza Horizon games in particular are incredible.
I'll wait for those cactuses.
On the weird side for PlayStation is that they've, if you think about the releases that they've had over the course of the last few years, probably from say 2019 onwards, Days Gone came out, that was Bend. Now they had, they got screwed around for 12 months anyway, as was reported on, and then the pandemic hit, so they might have just started to land on their project, and then everything's kind of been blown up, and they've got to work it, like what everyone had to do at first, which is, okay, how do I work from home, and then actually get into pre-production and those sort of things, where there's probably a lot of people twiddling their thumbs because they're not part of that pre-production process. So that they were kind of stuck waiting. You've got a whole bunch of other studios in similar sorts of boats, at Pixel Opus for Concrete Genie, who I thought would be there, but apparently not. Dreams, developer Media Molecule, similar boat. And then you've even got games that came out in 2020. So Naughty Dog with Last of Us Part 2. You've got Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima, who all they've done technically since is still a director's cut, which is awesome. And I reviewed on the site, and it's fantastic. But whatever comes next, whether it's Ghost of Tsushima 2 or something else, it's a long, long way away and been slowed down even further. So the difficult thing for them is that all the games that might have been in position, and it kind of shows with what happened with Horizon being delayed basically a year in the end, and God of War clearly delayed about the same amount of time. Like the position that the development teams are in a lead up to the pandemic hasn't suited them well in the time since. So they've just been really strategic, and they've gone, okay, well, Insomniac's the one exception where they just seem to be able to, well, maybe it's in the name, they're Insomniacs, they don't sleep. They just keep making games all the time.
They just live at the building.
Yeah. And
not only do you get your own desk, you get your own bed.
Yeah, that sounds right. Actually, I'd crunch for that. But anyway, they seem to be the exception to the rule within first party at the moment. But they've just been smart. They've gone, okay, we're going to go land Forspoken. That's coming out in the March to May window next year, our autumn. They've gone and locked down a whole bunch of other games in similar sorts of capacities. Obviously, there's going to be, and not that they knew it at the time, but Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be presumably towards the end of next year as well. So where they can't put their own first-party games in there, they've locked down third-party exclusives to fill out the roster. There's Final Fantasy 16 that's also a a third-party exclusive as well. So and admittedly, I think they would have done that regardless of the pandemic because Final Fantasy is huge. But they've actually, what they haven't been able to fill themselves, they're going to be able to fill with third-party exclusives that you can still only play on PlayStation, which forces people's hand to go buy a PlayStation. So it's a clever strategy that buys time for Naughty Dog to get Last of Us Remake done or whatever the next game is, and Ben to get to a point where they can show off their next game, and same for all these other studios, Ghost of Tsushima 2 and all that sort of thing. Like they've created an extra year basically for all these studios to start to click into gear. Because if you look ahead, 2022 is okay based on what I just said, but 2023, the only thing we know about and can really reliably expect at this point is probably Spider-Man 2.
Oh man,
and that's awesome, but you can't build a year around that. So the other games are going to be there. It's just they've bought them time now to let them cook in the oven. Maybe midway through 2022, or if they have a September showcase next year, that's when you go, okay, here's what Ben's doing, here's what this team's doing, here's what this team's doing. and all of a sudden 2023 and beyond looks good.
Deathloop trailer
for no good reason. So I think they've made some strategic deals that have actually set them up really well for next year. That buys their first party some time, and then they'll start to come rolling out afterwards. So good strategy, PlayStation. I think it worked well and masked the fact that your first parties are a little bit behind at the moment. People who own a PlayStation are still not going to miss out on games in the meantime. That's the key.
They'll be there playing their FIFA and NBA. Well, they can't play NBA 2K at the moment because apparently it doesn't work.
It doesn't work very well. Yeah, can confirm. Hell, they were having problems. Like, I got sent a code that was supposed to be for the 75th anniversary edition. The one that's got Dirk and...
right.
And all the big names on it. But I got sent a code for that's on PS4, and you're meant to get the free upgrade to PS5 if you've got that version. And that didn't even work. They had to send me a different code just so I could get the PS5 version. Like, nothing is working for 2K at the moment.
What? All that virtual currency is not doing anything for you.
But you can go speak to the guy from State Farm.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not going well for 2K22.
What's all that virtual currency they're doing? Are they just sitting on it? Or did someone run away with it? Who knows?
No one would know because the game's not working.
Yes. No connection.
So, yeah, that's kind of the state of things. What do you think overall of the presentation?
Did we just discuss this?
Did not. I feel like I just hijacked it. Did you?
No, I did. I just said your part's like it was. The middle part was a bit weak.
Yeah, that's right.
Ended well. Like I reckon the last 3 games took up about a quarter of the presentation almost. I mean, Gran Turismo had a massive trailer. Spider-Man, not so much.
That was short, but they did what
Boy
they needed
Simulator 2022. Well, I don't know how long that went for because I didn't watch it.
About 2 to 3 minutes.
And everyone's complains like, oh, it's the same animations. Like, is that what you pick up on it? Who cares?
They're always looking for something. It's Puddlegate.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you've played all those Legend of Zelda games, I'm pretty sure Link does the same chop in every game. No one complains about that, do they? No.
Except in the Wii version, which was like Skyward Sword. Or even Twilight Princess, where he was left-handed and right-handed in the GameCube version.
Yes, I do remember that. Was
weird.
Someone told me that. It's like, in the Wii version, he's left-handed. Like,
some weird trivia for
great.
you.
I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. It's like, why did you tell me that for? Oh, he's right-handed in the GameCube version. Like, why?
Yeah, who knows?
Or was it the other way around? I can't remember.
I can't remember which one was which, but yeah, he was left-handed in one, right-handed in the other.
The Wii, if he's swinging around.
I think it was right-handed in the Wii because
that makes more sense because of the motion stick.
Yeah, the Wii remote was supposed to be. It was kind of designed mostly for the right hand and the nunchuck for the left, but I don't know. Who knows? I could have it backwards. Yeah, more Nintendo stuff probably next week with Jamie.
He'll tell us.
He'll tell us for sure. We'll just like fact checked everything Nintendo for the whole episode.
Let's just be like those people who eat horse medicine and just Google for like 10 minutes of Nintendo facts and see if they're true or not, and then ask Jamie.
Fact checking with Jamie Penning. That's the episode.
Yeah. Is it true that Bubsy's the best game of all time?
Better than Donkey Kong Country. Sorry, mate. I know you're listening.
Power Glove, hot or not?
Oh, should I buy a Virtual Boy?
Virtual Boy.
Remember the old Virtual Boy, the like 3D thing? Like the 3D.
Oh yes,
headset before.
Game and Watch. Yeah. Overrated or not?
Yeah. All right. On that note, we're rambling, and we're going to talk a lot of Nintendo most likely with Jamie next week, unless something huge comes along. At which point, sorry, Jamie, but you're talking about whatever the huge thing is with us.
2 parts.
Or we might do 2 episodes or something like that. Who knows? We'll get creative. We'll make it work. If you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, subscribe. All the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes Patched, Player 2 Plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. There's some awesome stuff there, so please subscribe and go and check it out. Lots of embargoed games and videos going up this week, so stay tuned for a whole bunch of stuff there. Obviously, I mentioned Deathloop already, and there'll be more to come. So go check all that stuff out. We're also on... the website, player2.net.au for reviews. Again, lots of embargoed stuff. We've already got about 3 or 4 reviews sitting in the can ready to roll out this week, so keep your eyes out for them. And a whole bunch more. Please be sure to go check all that stuff out. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks, lower tiers early access, high tiers multi-episode exclusives. And then finally, there's Twitter. Matto?
Matto_Phil, and you can still send in your audition tapes.
Yeah, Jamie's in next week, but we don't know how long Damo's gone for, so
we don't know how long Damo's gone for. He might come back next week. We don't know.
And if he comes back next week, I don't have a 4-person layout, so Damo's just gonna have to take another week off.
Well, Damo could just be off screen.
Oh yeah, just a voice only.
We'll just put his head somewhere on the screen.
That might actually be the way to get him in the show going forward.
Floating head.
If it's just audio, his internet might hold up long enough.
Oh, he could be Tom Hanks for one.
Oh, good one. Paul J's Games for me. The website is player2au, and until next time, we'll see you next week.